Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Girl with a Comic-Con Tattoo. This is, I've lost count how many attempts I have made trying to do a Comic-Con 50 2019 recap and failing at it a lot. Part of the reason is I had a really horrible year, and I'm not going to go into some of the details with that, but it was bad. I had a lot of stuff go wrong. I had a lot of bad information. I was broken with my stress fracture. And every video I have done comes out very, very angry or very long because I detail all the issues I'm having or whatever. And while I think it's important to address that there are going to be those bad years, I don't want that to be something that I'm projecting. Despite the fact that I had a very bad year, I'm still going to do Comic-Con. I'm still going to show up, and I'm still going to work for the con and have a great time. Or try to have a great time, depending on how the years work out. But because I know from having done it for so long that you have those up years and you have those down years. This was a really down year for me. One of my major complaints was that there just really wasn't enough 50th anniversary in my 50th anniversary con. I started recently working with another con called Condor, and it is a small local convention. It's pretty old in and of itself. I'm not sure if it's Comic-Con old, but it's been around a while, and it's a really small con. And for conventions to be as large as Comic-Con and to have been around for 50 years is so very rare. Most cons fold in the first 5 years, or they only make it to around 10, 15, 20. They just don't last 50 years. That's really amazing. And I felt like there just really wasn't anything there other than stuff to part me with my money. Comic-Con had a lot of 50th anniversary merchandising, and some of it was really great, and some of it was just like, okay, great, it's, not that great. They did a partnership with Heroes Within, and they did an exclusive tech hoodie, and I bought one and then promptly sold it online because it was cheap. To be honest, it wasn't lined. It wasn't anything super spectacular. It felt very thin. It did not feel worthy of the amount of money I spent on it, other than the fact that it was branded Comic-Con 50. And that to me felt like a lot of reason for the whole reason to even acknowledge the 50 was to get money. And that really bothered me. There was, I think, a party, which I didn't even hear about until after the con. There were 4 panels, one each day. The concept was really cool, and I wish I had made it out to them, but each day was a different decade. So there was one for the 70s, and it was people who had worked the con during the 70s talking about what it was like at that time. One from the 80s, one from the 90s, and then I think one from the 2000s. Yeah, that sounds right. And it was, other than that, there just really wasn't anything. In addition to all the problems I had, it just made for a really horrible, lackluster con for me. So I wasn't happy. What made me happy and I don't want to cry, is the people. I was very fortunate to run into several people that just were so incredibly sweet and so incredibly nice, and they didn't know me. These were not my friends. These were not people I'd ever met before they showed their random act of kindness to me. I was working with the Masquerade, and they had one of their sponsors was somebody, Netflix was sponsoring them, and I was working with a gentleman from Netflix, and I casually mentioned that he had the toucan pin, because there were 4 collectible pins this year, and one of them was the toucan. And because of a bunch of stuff, I wasn't able to purchase them the way I normally do, so I was stuck, I didn't think I was going to get any of them. I casually mentioned that I didn't have this pin, and I thought it was very cool that he got one. And I walked away to go off and do something else I was doing, and the gentleman came after me, and he handed me the pin, and he was like, "Here, you can have this." And I told him no. I was like, "You're our sponsor. You shouldn't be giving me anything other than what you guys have already given us. I should be, doing stuff for you." And he said, no. Do you know how many cons I do? And, I'll get another one at the next con or whatever. And that was so incredibly sweet, and really made my day. And then on Sunday, my friends and I were sitting outside of one of the gaming rooms waiting for our D&D game to start, and there were some guys sitting next to us, and I stopped one of them, and had somebody given me a spare pin of one of the pins I already had. So I offered to trade with them, because at this point the only pin I was missing, through acts of kindness and my friends just giving me pins because I was more into it than they were and stuff, was the Golden State one, which is the one that looked like California, the state of California. And I offered to trade them if they had it, and this one of the guys was like, "Oh yeah, I think that's the one I got," and he gave it to me. He didn't need me to trade it. He was just like, "Here, you can just have it," which was so nice and sweet and kind. And I was like, I have to take a picture with this guy, and hopefully he sees this video and reaches out. After that, we actually went to the D&D room to wait for our D&D game to start, and I got to talking with this gentleman about the con. How was your con? And my con was pretty horrible, and I was talking to him about some of the stuff that I had gone through, and he was incredibly sweet, because I really, at that point, clearly needed somebody to just sort of talk to. And so he talked to me, and he and his sons had gone into Hall H earlier in the con, and they had spent all day in Hall H, so they'd ended up with a bunch of premium tickets. And you go and you get these, and you get like a little surprise or a little whatever. And he had a bunch, and he was like, "Well, here, I think this one is the Marvel one. You can have this one, and that way you get something from the con." And he was like, "Yeah, I think it's like a deck of cards or something." And they're trading cards, and each one's an Infinity Stone. It's really cool looking. And I thanked him for that, because it was so nice and kind. Then we started, our D&D table opened up, and I headed off with my friends to D&D, and they put this kid at the table with us. And when I say kid, I mean this kid was probably, I'm not a great judge of age, so he's somewhere between probably around 14 or 15 to maybe like 16, 17. He's an older kid, a young adult. And he was just super awesome to play with because his energy matched my energy, and we just, it was, my friends are still talking about, like, how crazy that game was. And they already know me as having a crazy personality when I play D&D, so this was, for them, like, they were just like, oh, now there's two of her, but it was so much fun, and we exchanged numbers, and this is the reason I'm redoing this again. Last night he reached out to me, and I believe his name is Adrian. Let's take a look, because I'm not great with names. It is Adrian. Cool. I remembered something. And I guess his father had gotten a hold of the Funko toucan, and they're gonna trying not to cry. I cried so much last night when he texted me. They're gonna send it to me for free, and the reason I'm crying is, one, these people were so incredibly nice to do that. They don't have to do that. They're doing it out of the kindness of their heart. And the toucan was quite literally the only thing I wanted from Comic-Con. I mean, yeah, I wanted the pins, and yeah, I wanted this other stuff, but that was the only thing I really wanted, because I'm a Comic-Con fangirl. And it is so cute. There's some footage of me with the toucan, because they had like a giant size one, which honestly, if Funko gave me that, I don't know where I put it. I think I'd probably get rid of my dining room table just to make space for it, because it was so amazing. But I'd taken pictures with it. I had gotten some good and bad information, and just on getting them, since I didn't win the lottery to get it, and it just never materialized. It was never something I was able to do. And I was quite literally heartbroken, especially when I went online and I started to see how much they were going for. I was like, man, it's gonna be years before they drop down in price, if they drop down in price to something I could even remotely afford. The other Funko, I don't collect Funkos. I only have a handful, and those are because they came in like a loot crate, or it was a specific character. Like, I have all the Hawkeye ones because I'm a Hawkeye fangirl, and I have Red from Pirates of the Caribbean because my friends got her for me for Christmas because I love Pirates of the Caribbean. There's only like a handful of ones that I want, and the toucan was one of those. And if somebody comes across the Sleeping Beauty in the blue dress, because she should only be in blue, subject for another day, let me know, because I would love to get that one as well. Anyway, it was just this random act of kindness, and I have said it before, I will say it again, and I will continue to say it. This is why I go to Comic-Con. I go to Comic-Con for the people. Everybody is a family member. Very few things happen. Bad things happen. People are good and kind and sweet. Comic-Con is the best of humanity. Absolute best of humanity. People are so generous and so friendly, and I just don't know. I don't have the words to describe how I feel on this subject, and how I feel about the people that go to Comic-Con. They are awesome, and they are amazing, and yeah, there are those jerks that are going to make your Comic-Con harder than it already is, but for every one of those a-holes, there is 1,000 angels out there who are willing to step up and make it a better con for you, who want you to have as much fun as they are having. And those are the people that keep me coming back to Comic-Con for over 25 years. Because I don't know how I would live my life without that refresher of humanity every year. And I could go on and on and on about how awesome the people at Comic-Con are, and how awesome Adrian and his father and his family are. And the guy from Netflix, and the dude who gave me the pin, and I wish I had everybody's name so I could just give you everybody's name. But I just don't have, seriously, I just don't have the words anymore. Go find your local Comic-Con. Find your local convention. Find your tribe. Do the stuff to meet your tribe, and be that person that saves somebody else's con. Because that's more important than anything else. Before I start crying again, thank you so much for sitting through my video and my ramblings, and I hope that you join me for the next one and the next one, and just get to experience all of the wonders that fandom conventions have. Thank you. If you want to, like and subscribe, and if nothing else, share, so that I can find and put a name to the face of the other people that helped me out at Comic-Con this year, because I would love to thank them in a very public way. So thank you, all of you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.